Good day. Welcome to the Africans in America podcast. With me is Woriche.
Hello, everyone.
There has been some significant happenings as regards to immigration, people seeking to immigrate or visit America.
Mhm.
The happenings is mainly people seeking non-immigrant visas, and that is that one, there's been a number of requirements placed on people. One is the every country is now expected to put $250 visa integrity fee,
Mhm.
and that affects almost every country in the world. Visitors from
Mhm.
countries covered by the United States waiver program, such as Europe and a handful of Middle Eastern countries, are,
Mhm.
are however exempt. The key word here is visa waiver fee. And
Yeah.
but most importantly, the biggest news of the week as regards to Africa is that the American government is trialing one new system where called they're piloting a new system called the visa bond. And this will be for V1, B1, B1, B2 business and tourist visas who seek to enter America. They will be expected to pay a range of what they call visa bonds between 5,000, 10,000, and 15,000. And this is part of a year-long bond pilot program implemented by the US government to address concerns about visa overstay rates from certain
Mhm.
countries, including Malawi and
In
Zambia.
Zambia. Mhm.
Yeah. The thing is that this overstay is mainly the way by which a lot of people end up staying in America. They accuse a lot of African countries of having significant high amount of overstay. But
Yeah.
$15,000 bond, many people who move to America they know how hard it is to even make 10,000, 1,000, $2,000, talk less of $15,000. $15,000 bond, 10,000, 5,000, and already they have already given it to, they have already targeted two countries, particularly. The countries here now being Malawi and Zambia. Let's see this. Let's see this Department of U.S. Department of State released on their website. The Department of State has identified nationals of the following country as subject to visa bonds, as outlined
Yeah.
by this thing. Established the pilot program based on B1, B2 overstay rates per Department Homeland Security. Meanwhile, that's Malawi and Zambia, starting August 20th, 2025. Any citizen or national traveling on a passport issued by one of these countries who is found otherwise eligible for B1, B2 must post a bond in an amount of 5,000, 10,000, and 15,000, determined at the time of visa interview. The applicant must also submit a Department of Homeland Security Form I-352 agreeing to the terms of the bond through the Department of Treasury online payment platform, pay.gov. This requirement requires um Warike, Malawi and Zambia. Malawi is one of the poorest countries in Africa. If they are up down there among the poorest countries.
Mhm.
Zambia too has a lot of problems. What do you think about this? Do you think it's the continuing attack on African or the continuing strategy to prevent Africans from coming to America?
Yeah. I mean, it's been the plot the plan since, and I don't know why he zoomed in on Malawi and Zambia particularly, because he does have other countries on his list of you know, countries that he would prefer not to see in America, like as stated. And what's interesting, when you really go into researching is in every given year, the people who overstay are barely make up to 2%. it's between a 1% and 2% of people that overstay on their visas, to be honest. And you think about it, like, I'm not trying to, say it's right or it's wrong. I'm not speaking on that aspect because whether it's right or wrong, people will overstay their visas. And even also, regardless of what's being put in place, people will overstay their visas. But I'm just kind of curious as to why he zoned in on those two countries particularly, and why, because some of the arguments are that they need the money to process the visa fees and to process the application process, but $15,000
Wow,
to
that's a
process,
lot.
is a lot of money. And why those particular countries? And again, with this administration, they have reasons for everything.
Mm,
And so maybe if historically there has been something that's happened, um, with regards to those two countries, and that's why they zoned in on them. But the point is, I don't think it's practical to, have these countries pay that much just for visa fees. What we're going to see eventually is less people coming to America, less people coming to America, or more people actually reneging their contracts or their agreements. So
mm,
it's not necessarily going to affect, like, people are still going to come as much as they choose to, but it's not going to stop people from, if they choose to stay, from staying or overstaying their visas, if that makes any sense. They'll
yeah,
probably to, okay, I'm just going to lose that money, but then I'm here in America. So I don't see it being a deterrent, I think is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
yes. This is like a map of some of the countries with the highest overstay rates in
Mhm.
America. And they accuse a lot of African countries of being predominantly the most on that list and all
On
that.
the list. Yeah.
But let's
Well,
put this within
the
the context of the fact that last
reason-
year or during the Biden administration, 15, almost 10 million people were allowed into America. And of that 10 million people that were allowed into America, from at least from what from what Donald Trump himself has been saying, I
Mhm.
don't think up to 100,000 of them were Africans. So on
Mhm.
a comparative basis, Africans they are so insignificant, even though they have some of the highest overstay rates in 2023. My belief is that if you have a situation where 20 million people came into America from Cuba,
Mhm.
from Venezuela, from Haiti, and we didn't see African countries on that list. They were very negligible. So why this attack on Africa?
Yeah. We don't know. He doesn't like Africa, I guess. That's all I have to say, really.
It is so punitive. And recently he issued out some tariffs. And one of the tariffs, there's a video, I should have even got that video to run. I think I sent that distance so that one of the countries most impacted by that tariff is a country called Lesotho. Lesotho.
Hmm.
These are countries that used to, because of a policy that used to be there, which is AGOA, Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. Many countries, Chinese investors, Turkish investors, Moroccan investors invested in things like textile mills in these countries. So Lesotho started to produce a lot of textile.
Yeah. Our friend is here to visit. Let him stay. Trouble is too much. Or what has he done? Your trouble is much, Juju. I'm listening to you,
Yes.
please.
So Lesotho used to produce a lot of textile. Now, because of these tariffs, the companies, not because they reduced Lesotho's tariffs, but from what we gather, they cut the order from America. Many of them couldn't incorporate the tariffs into their import bill. So they
Mhm.
cut and this textile business really affected Lesotho and Eswatini, because these are very significant contributors to their GDP and their export revenue. Now they have a
Gee,
situation where some people have had their factories closed for almost 3 months and they are not working.
they're not
So
working.
the Trump administration is really impacting heavily on Africans.
Indeed, indeed. But remember, you have to remember their mandate. These were some of the things that they earmarked, and they said they will deliver on. And so that's why I'm not surprised at all. I did hear that Nigerians also have to have a certain amount of money in their accounts before. So I want to say it's not necessarily a bond, but you have to prove your ability to, take care of yourself. So if you're coming for those visas, you have to have at least 10 million naira in your account. And not
Wow.
many travelers have that. So you have to prove that in your bank account. I don't know if it's prove it on the day of the interview or prove it over a period of time that you earn that amount of money or you have access to that amount of money. And then that will now, your visa will be dependent on the fact that you can afford to, pay your way in America. So yeah, these are their strategies to reduce people overstaying, right? He's very big on the whole birth right, citizenship, etc., right?
That's
So he's
another one.
always again keep people out of America. And the group of people he will target would be the Africans, the
It,
blacks.
it's
So it
it's
is
really
from the Latino down to the black. So for whatever reason, that's his target. So yeah.
it's so sad that most times when people come from Africa, because like you have said, there's a very thorough vetting process. They want to know
And
your bank account statements. They want to know if you have ties back in your countries that will make you come back. So probably if you have land or
mhm.
if you have family ties, they want they want to be sure of every single thing you have. These are all our co-hosts and co-presenters today.
It must be part of it. This one is way Wahala is too much. I'm listening, please. Let's try to, temper the energy with our discussion, now Donald Trump discussion. But yes, I'm listening to you. Yes. So I don't know why he's targeting Africa particularly, but his strategy is that he wants to reduce the number of people who could potentially come to America and stop like and just end up being here without he wants to reduce the number of asylum seekers, refugee people and all of that. So it's just his attempt at really what am I trying to say? His attempt at reducing the number of people who will come and claim citizenship in America. So he's
Yeah.
never been a friend of
America is a country formed by immigrants.
yes.
It's an immigrant country, and that immigrant thing really helps their economy. We know
Of
immigration
course.
helps their economy because it makes their labor cost to be very competitive, Many
Isn't that why
Europe,
DV lottery? The DV lottery was in place for a long time because there's the need. There's so much land that it is not even being occupied in America. I hope you know that, right?
mhm.
So over time, America decided, okay, this program will find a way to create a pathway for non-American citizens to make America their home. It's going to be a legal pathway because they see the need, they see the benefit. And I think that for some years now, I think particularly Nigeria, countries again in Africa have been stopped from the DV lottery
Yeah, some
uh,
countries, Nigeria has been stopped.
for a long while.
Mhm.
So it begs the question, so what was the whole point of it? Because if you wanted people who fit a particular criteria and the Nigerians fits the criteria, why are you stopping the process? Why are you all of a sudden saying, okay, why is there such a thing as a caveat as, oh, too many Nigerians qualified? But it was listed. You know what I mean? That in and of itself is discrimination. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
discriminatory or whatever, because
It,
it's
yeah, it's
it's like
true.
you wanted a certain group of people, they showed up, and now you say, okay, no, we don't want them anymore because too many of them fit that bill. It's like, come on, like, so it's a bit interesting. what he's, the strategies towards um immigration reform, because that's what it is, immigration reform. There's
Mm.
strategies towards immigration reform. So
It's sad because it seems like he's targeting Africa particularly, but
correct.
because of his desire for Nobel Peace Prize, he has at least facilitated two peace initiatives in Africa, the one between Egypt and Ethiopia. I read that one, I don't know when and how. And also the one between Congo and Rwanda. He has also, at least for that one, we saw representatives of Congo and Rwanda coming
Mhm.
to the Oval Office and met with him. But then we all know that he's trying to sweeten these countries up because of their vast amount of rare earth metals that they have. And now that the Chinese have blocked access to rare earth metals for Africa, for America, he may just want to, but it's so confusing when in one regard you are trying to be friends with them very selectively. Then in another regard, you are being punitive and you are hitting them so hard, like how he is hitting South Africa and even Algeria and Morocco and Eswatini, Lesotho. It's just so
Yeah,
sad. So
it
sad to be
is.
seeing it.
But well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out in the next
We,
4 years.
we still have 3.5 years of the Trump administration.
We do, but it's okay. People are going to get it together. They will apply. The people that can make it will make it, and then we'll see what happens within that period. You
We
know,
we think that Malawi and
Zambia.
Zambia, they don't have significant immigrant population coming to America. So you will think that since they are piloting it with them, they may just be
Mhm.
targeting Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Morocco, the people who constitute large populations, and Ethiopia, who normally constitute large populations of the continent. And you will think that that's where they may be heading, because see, even the notice on the website of the State Department stated that it's a pilot, and we think it will be rolled out. I think they may have a system where they may consider the kind of economic situation of the country. So a country like Nigeria, that may be termed a middle income country, may be slapped with $15,000 bond. That means it will just mean that it's only very elitist people that will end up coming to visit America or come for conferences in America and all
I agree. My
that.
dogs are very disruptive today. I don't know why their energy is like really heavy, and I apologize. But yes, yes, we'll see what happens. It's going to pass. 3.5 years. We'll weather the storm. Nigerians already are complaining that they will, about the fact that they need that amount of money to travel. And a lot of people, like the airway this year, they said that less people came to America this year, historically. Just again, due to the fact that one, we have Donald Trump as administrator, as president, and then, all these bans. And so we're going to see that significantly over the next 4 years. There are going to be less people coming to America. They'll try to weather the storm and just wait it out until this, because no one even feels safe, to be honest, coming at this time. You don't know if you spend all that money, if you're going to be allowed in, right? Into the country. You might be, after spending all the money, after spending months trying to get the visa, then trying to put your paperwork together, you and your family on vacation or whatever the case, and then you guys get to the airport and you're not allowed in. So more people are like, okay, let them look for safer travel options that are more guaranteed. And
Yep.
America is looking
You have
revenue.
raised a very important point, very important
The
point. Because
second
tourism
point
under the Trump administration has reduced
is uh,
significantly.
is actually yes, because it's a source of income when you think of it as a source of revenue, and it's not there anymore. You know the number of people that troop to Las Vegas every year just because Las Vegas is, has the attraction that it does,
Yeah.
and then New York
So,
and even California. So now they're not going to have all that revenue that would come from travelers because we always think of it from a standpoint of travelers want to come and stay in America. Truth is that a lot of people are living better lives outside of America. Let's be honest, right? When it comes to should I say, raising, getting money, making money, as well as the comforts, right? It's like the lifestyle in Nigeria. You think of the fact that people have their cooks, their stewards, their drivers, and all of that. It's quite an easier life than the one in America. And so I think that because of all the years and centuries of the narratives that have been purported, the narratives that have been pushed forward, they tend to have this understanding or belief that most people who come to America don't want to leave America. But that's not the fact. A lot of people, a lot of well-to-do people don't even vacation in America. They vacation across the world, right? And when you interview some of them and ask them, what's the reason why this is the case? A lot of them tell you because of all the stuff going on in America. So it's and with what Trump is doing, it is increasingly pushing more people away from America. So yeah, and when Americans don't travel, it tends to be the narrative that they believe is that maybe more people want to just come to America and not leave. But that's not true. A lot of people actually want to just vacation across the world, even in America, and leave. And that's why it was important to note the number of people who overstay their visas are between 1% and 2% every year. You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? Telling me that the whole 98% who respected the laws and who, came in here and only did what it was that they needed to do and left, they're not going to be acknowledged. 1%, 2% is just a tiny fraction. You can use that number to now determine the entire travel population or African population, regional population that visit America. So these are things to unpack, but yeah.
anyway, now you were mentioning that, I remembered also that there's this situation where, because of all these policies, it has also reduced those Africans seeking to come to get American education. Because we used to have a large population of people who come to, at least in every year, the average enrollment from Africa, the Nigerian being the highest, always was around 13 to 15,000 people. And they've already started to make so many laws against some of the best Ivy League schools, especially those ones that have a lot of international students,
Yeah,
Harvard, Columbia, and all, and Duke. They are attacking them, and they are doing
yeah,
everything to undermine their international student enrollment. And you will
exactly.
wonder what you want to come here to do when you don't even know. There also the one of the requirements now for you to get a visa, as someone who wants to come and study in America, is that you have to give them complete access to your social media accounts so that they can see if you have said anything against Israel, or if you have said anything against Trump, or if you have supported
An
the
easy,
the
that's an easy one. Not that I'm trying to give them ideas, but the easy thing about that is now they know all they have to do is just go and delete their social media posts. All right.
well, we really don't know, but generally all this is putting obstacles this country became great from the fact that if you look at the names of the people who are the titans of the Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange. You will look at Elon Musk. He came here. He came as a student. You will look at Sergey Brin, the one who has Google. You will look at even the one who has Zoom. This same Zoom we're using now. He came as a student from China. These are things. This country was built and still is built. Even Apple, even Jeff Bezos from Cuba, even Apple from Syria. That is the parents and all that.
And
This is a country. Then Elon Musk. You can imagine the kind of significance, the kind of advantages, the kind of technological superiority he has put in the column of America because of Tesla, because of SpaceX, because of Starlink. I mean, these are so retrogressive for the kind of policies that built this country. What's your take?
I agree with you, but I guess we just have to weather this storm and just allow this play out. It will change eventually. That's my belief, right? It'll change, but if it has, I think I heard, the phrase that goes, it has to get bad before it gets better, right? So maybe that's where we are, is let's allow it play out and then, it's just sad that the revenue that comes from tourism is going to be greatly
Yeah,
affected. A
tourism
lot
has been significantly affected already.
affected. A lot of people who have tourism businesses are taking a huge hit
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
right? It's just, it's funny because it's thriving in Europe, it's thriving in Asia. A
Mm.
lot more people traveled to Thailand this year than came to America. You know what I
And
mean? So you
yeah,
find that more people are pushing towards Asia and Europe and even the
and
Caribbeans,
even
even
China, China has given a lot of
South
European countries, I think 70 countries, they've given
yeah,
them visa-free entry. You can just come in and stay for 15 days for visa. So
yes,
when
yes.
they are making their own easier, America is making its own harder.
Harder. And then China is implementing, I think they already have an amazing university or multiple amazing universities. And now, so those Ivy League students are finding that and they're inviting them. And with China, they double down on their own this thing and then they throw in all these incentives. In other words, saying, don't work, don't bother going to America where they don't even want you, where they treat you like you don't matter. Come on over. And those are the things. I mean, I'm an American. I love America. It's been 20 years exactly since I've been in America. You won't believe it. And I consider this place my home. I would always want for things in America to be better, not worse, right? But things have deteriorated in that 20-year span. And
Mm.
it's sad to watch, right? That, now America is being put in a position because America has been the superpower for a minute, for a while, for forever, right? But now things are deteriorating to the point where it's going to be inevitable that when you do this and strengthen other economies and strengthen other regions, it makes sense that things are going to fall apart eventually. And that's why when we didn't want Donald Trump in office, what we saw that we predicted the future, we saw it, we saw the way we were going to have to go. And that's why we didn't want him in office. We wanted someone else. But apparently more people in America wanted him, and that's why they voted him in, right? So we're going to have to just deal with the consequences that come with it. Immigration is just one tiny factor, and it doesn't necessarily impact the average American. The fact that the immigrants are being affected, they carry on with their lives and just go about living their lives. It doesn't matter that immigrants are taking a hit, but a lot of them are compassionate towards the immigrants, right? But I'm just trying to say that average American is not really impacted necessarily by the fact that immigrants are not coming in. However, when reputation wise, I think it's affecting everybody. People are traveling from America to Europe, and once the minute they announce that they're American, I see it on social media. They talk about either the aggression they experience from just mentioning that they're American, or like they get into heated debates just because people think that there's the need to fight them because they're American, or they start talking down on the government. So people are actually documenting their experiences being Americans, even out there during their travel. So it's sort of it's like a domino effect. It's just going on. It's not just impacting the ones here, it's impacting the ones out there. And it's not comforting, but we have to be strong and weather the storm. That's all
Yeah.
we can do. You know,
Anyway, on that
embed.
sad note, we will I guess we
Yeah,
just have to call it a day for today. It's
I know.
I don't know what they will want to be the outcome of their pilot in this program, whether it will mean that whether the goal they are aiming to achieve is that nobody is able to get the visa and visit, or whether the people are able to pay the bond and come and go and collect the money, because they chose the poorest countries in Africa, those ones that really have challenges already to pilot it. So it will make you wonder what outcome they are trying to achieve. It's one day we will come out on this our forum and we will talk more about more positive things. But
More
for the
positive thing.
past few
I want
videos, we have been talking about very sad and negative things that will make you think that there's a target.
there's no
We are targeted completely by this regime. It's sad, but
mention
this is the
mention
reality.
that this what's going on is when we talk about it from the standpoint of development in Africa, it's it's inspiring or it is encouraging African governments to engage in bilateral and multilateral conversations. One of the countries that we have to Google it at some point and discuss it just opened up its borders for other African countries to be able to travel with no
I
visa
think
requirement.
that's Kenya, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are the incremental positive steps forward that when we look at it from a more holistic, African holistic perspective, right? It benefits Africa for these pushbacks to happen so that it ends up translating to, okay, more cooperation amongst the African nations. It might be very little, the fact that, okay, only one country or two countries have opened up their borders, but these are the effects of these conversations that are happening in the West. And it's encouraging more union, more togetherness. It might not be as fast or as quickly as we would want it to be, but it's getting better. You know what I mean? Now, in the same vein, I saw videos where Ghanaians were trying to chase Nigerians out of Ghana.
Yeah,
So
Africa does have its problem.
it does
Yeah.
have its problems. So that notwithstanding, I think these conversations, anyways, are facilitating a certain level of union, right? That is required, that has been needed and necessary for advancement or growth to happen in Africa. So again, remember we have that window of like a few decades to go. If we want to look at it from a standpoint of 30 years from now, the conversation in Africa will be much different, right? So it's just that's the little glimmer of sunshine that we have
Well,
going
on that very optimistic and bright note,
on. Mhm.
the my mood though has not reflected. It has been more in line with the mood of the topic. I apologize for that, but it's really not a topic that has brought any form of joy to us. But at least Weriche has given us some with thoughts of optimism and all that. And we thank you for being with us to this point of of our discourse. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. If
Like,
you have any opinions about what we have discussed, especially as regards to the what I would call punitive, very punitive
mhm,
visa bond, and choosing Malawi and Zambia, or whatever opinions you feel you have, express them in the comment section. Give us your thought and all that, and give us suggestions too as to what you think how we can advocate for better engagement with Africa. Any thought you have, give us your opinion, put them in the comment section, like and share, and until we see you again next time. We say goodbye to Woriche and our two very lovely dogs who were part of
Oh,
our podcast today.
parents, maybe next time.
Yes. So thank you
Okay.
very much for being with us. Until next time. Goodbye.
Mhm. All right. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.